Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. Today we are talking Week 15 waiver wire pickups, streamers for the defense position. So we'll get right into it. Starting at number 5, we're looking at the Washington Redskins versus the Philadelphia Eagles this week. I think Washington is a decent option. Just looking at the game last night, the Eagles are basically down to next to nothing at the wide receiver spot. They're really only dangerous with tight end Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. So the Redskins have also started to look better on defense as the season goes on. They just held Aaron Rodgers to a pretty poor performance. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to keep the Eagles to a really low score game. So if you need a streaming play this week, I think the Redskins are a decent option. At number 4, we have the Green Bay Packers again against the Chicago Bears. Green Bay Packers defense is pretty widely owned, but if they're out there, they're a really good play this week. The game is in Lambeau. Yes, Mitchell Trubisky has started to catch a little bit of fire, but coming back to Lambeau, this should be more of a defensive battle. Packers offense hasn't been too hot either, so I would expect another low-scoring affair here. You could do much worse than Green Bay's defense against Chicago this week. Number 3, we have the Oakland Raiders. They're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. The Jaguars' implosion is just continuing, and now they're without their star wideout, DJ Chark. So doesn't look like there's going to be too much opposition from the Jaguars side of the ball. The Raiders are technically still in the playoff hunt, even though it would be very hard for them to get there. I think the Raiders continue to play with heart. These are the last couple games they get to play as the Oakland Raiders, so they're going to try to go out with a bang. I don't think the Jaguars put up much of a fight this week, and I think the Raiders defense has a really good fantasy day for you. Number 2, again, not super widely available, but if they are, the Vikings are another great play this week. They get to play the Chargers. Now, they are in LA this week, so typically it's not the best advice to start a fantasy defense on the road, but as we know, road games for the Chargers can quickly turn into home games. The Chargers do not have a very strong home field presence, so I'm not too worried. Yes, the Chargers just beat up on the Jaguars, but as we just mentioned, the Jaguars are in a torrid downward spiral right now, so I wouldn't take away too much from that. Philip Rivers has been throwing tons of interceptions. I look for that to continue this week, and I think the Vikings defense has their way with the Chargers this week. And then number 1 pickup, mostly because they're pretty widely available, is the Detroit Lions. They get to play Tampa at home this week. Now, Tampa did just put up a ton of points against the Colts, but Jameis Winston is dealing with a broken bone in his thumb. It's likely that as the week goes on, his hand will swell a bit. So at this point, we're not sure whether Jameis Winston will play or not. If he does, there's a likelihood that his already proneness to throw interceptions will be increased. If he regularly throws 3 interceptions against the defense with a perfectly functioning hand, we'll be able to see what he does when he has a partially broken hand. I think the Lions are a tremendous play this week at home. They held their own against the Vikings last week, and the Vikings have been red hot on offense. So I think this is another just follow the tea leaves, look at what's happening. I think the Lions become a really good play this week. So if they're out there and you need a streamer, the Lions are my pickup of the week. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please feel free to like and subscribe for more content all season long and into the off season. We will see you in the next one.